Moviesucktastic is a podcast about bad movies and the people that love them. But it's more than just a podcast, it's also an online presence. If you want to know more about Moviesucktastic or want to become a part of Moviesucktastic, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Twitter at Moviesucktastic, you can find our blog at boothreviews.blogspot.com, or if you want to give your own reviews that we might use on the show, you can go to reviews.moviesucktastic.com and check out our own little lunch.com community for Moviesucktastic. Check us out and become a part of the show, because the only thing more fun than a bad movie is sharing it.
The ultimate in screen terror. The horror that was the Nazi nightmare explodes on the screen. Because of the shocking nature of many scenes in this film, it is definitely not recommended for the squeamish or easily offended.
You are listening to Moviesucktastic.
Dude, no! Oh!
Hello, sir. Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Raspberdeutsch Strudel.
What?
So, not that I'm concerned that I'm an oversized Texan with a foot-long beard with a background that has swastikas on it, but are we on YouTube right now?
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
Damn. Yeah, this is the end.
Yeah.
I get that phone call from HR tomorrow.
Well.
Welcome to Moviesucktastic, and welcome to this episode's review of Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS, because of Joey.
Sorry. You know what? I'm not sorry.
What was the idea?
The idea, I mean, we're still in 1975, and we're going to review this movie at some point. As a matter of fact, I think...
Are we?
Yeah, I'm almost positive. I'm almost positive that you went down a list. You went down a list and mentioned this film as a possible challenge, and then you went with something else. And
right.
This is on a short list of movies.
See, I went with something else. Is my point.
I mean, if you didn't want the challenge, you could have,
I can't refuse a challenge. That would be horrible.
Well, I mean, you didn't have to put the swastika behind you.
No, I didn't, but I was trying to avoid nudity, and there's between the two. If you're going to avoid one thing in this film, you're more likely to avoid the swastika than the nudity. So
I don't understand how. You see just as much for both.
Yeah, you say that.
Yeah, I do. I did.
Yeah.
I just did. I mean, she's looking at you like she looked at everyone else in the movie right now. I mean,
yeah. I mean, all right. Yeah, 1975. We want to cover sexploitation. I thought I did that with Super Vixen.
Yeah, but this is Nazi exploitation.
Right, a whole subgenre there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS, the first of 4 films. Although
Well, isn't there only two more with her in it? There's three total.
All right, here's the deal. There's after this they made I believe it was Ilsa
The Oil Sheik.
Oil Sheik's harem, whatever.
Or something like that.
Right, and then the third one was Ilsa. Damn, I forget the third one now. But in between 2 and 3, or actually maybe after 2 and 3, Jesse Franco, the sexploitation king, he made a ripoff with Diane Thorne called Wanda the Wicked Warden.
That's right.
Right. So, but what happened is
came out in '77, and she played Greta in that.
Well, depending on which version you watch, there's 3 different dubbings of that. There's Wanda, there's Greta, and there's Ilsa. Because what the company
is it Ilsa or Elsa?
Ilsa, because what happened was the company that made the Ilsa films, when Wanda was released in America, they bought the copyright and then dubbed it over and changed it into Ilsa.
Oh.
Because there's no way they're not making money off of something that was ripped off of them.
Of course not.
Yeah.
So the other one is called, you got She-Wolf of the SS, you got Harem Keeper of the Oil Sheiks, then you have the Tigress of Siberia.
Yeah, because
which came out the same year as Wanda the Wicked Warden. Both came out in '77.
Right, because they were from 2 different total companies.
Right.
And Tigress, I believe, is the only one that was filmed in Canada, even though it's a Canadian company.
Yeah, so is this one.
This one wasn't filmed in Canada.
No, but it's a Canadian film.
Right. Now, interesting fact that I'm sure you know about Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS is the set it was filmed on.
I actually do not.
Really?
Yeah. Is it like MASH or something?
Hogan's Heroes.
Oh, God. Another World War II.
Yeah. Another show that kind of played down the whole Holocaust thing.
Wow.
Yeah, basically they were going to technically, literally, they were done with the show and they were going to destroy the set, and they said, no, our final scene, we burned down the huts, so we'll destroy it for you. And they're like, go ahead.
Perfect.
And the whole production was what, 8 or 9 days?
Yeah, it wasn't a long time. Not a large budget. I can't actually find the budget. I just know it was very low.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this is a '70s sexploitation, Nazi-ploitation. It's
probably one of the most well-known. I mean, it's right up there with Caged Heat.
Oh, yeah.
Except this makes Caged Heat look like, like something deep.
Yeah, like a Lifetime movie.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Pretty much. I mean, and Rob Zombie is another. He's not a big reason, but he's definitely a reason this film is known as well, because ever since people have known his name, he always talks about this movie. He's mentioned it.
The one song.
Exactly.
The House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yep. So.
The film, beyond Rob Zombie, the film does have its place in postmodern culture or modern or pop culture, I would say.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's always been around partly because of Diane Thorne's over-the-top acting and breasts, and again, like these kind of films, there's a whole that genre kind of grabbed the attention of your 80s and 90s video people, bootleg video people.
Yep.
I was one of them.
This still doesn't have an HD Blu-ray treatment.
Oh, and it shouldn't. It shouldn't. No,
yes,
no.
Yeah.
I would vote against that. Yes.
I would like to see this in 1080p.
No. I mean, this is one of the few films where I have to say it's indefensible. And
Really?
and not because of the whole Nazi thing either. Okay.
Okay.
But there's no reason for this film to exist.
Well, you could say that about a lot of movies.
No, but this one I really mean it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's equally exploitive and boring. It really, I mean, only how bad of a director you have to be to make like torturing during the Holocaust boring, where I'm like, let's move on to the next one. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, the toes. Let's move. It's just, I would have a hard time defending this film. Not like defending. I don't know. I don't mean it the same way that like right wing censorship boards would put it. But
yeah, I was actually surprised that this did receive an R rating.
Why?
Well, because the violence and like the experiments that they go through, which in the beginning of the film, it has a paragraph from the producer that basically says this is based on
that's shill.
This is based on actual experiments and fact, and we made this movie so that people are aware and none of this ever happens again. And
that's bullshit.
Well,
that's why I hate that. Oh, but now it is true. It actually is very, very loosely, as in there did exist the wife of a
the commandant.
I don't know the ranks. Commandant that ran a
concentration camp.
Concentration camps.
Yep.
And she was known as the bitch of Buchenwald or Buchenwald, whatever that one was called. I'm not a huge Holocaust fan, so I don't know the names. But
gotcha.
So and she was famous for having prisoners with tattoos killed and skinned for her furniture. But I don't think they did that in this one.
They didn't do that one.
And so, like, it's just based on the idea of her, I would say. The fact that this woman existed. That's how historically accurate this film is. Also, most concentration camps, unlike in this film, had more than a dozen prisoners.
Yes, that is true.
They had, like, empty cots. I was like, what's going on here? There's, like, 12 people in this whole camp. What kind of labor camp is this? You can't get... There are barely enough people here to cover HR. Come on.
I know. It felt like there was more prisoners than guards, and you would think it would be
never a good ratio.
The other way around.
Well, there usually are more prisoners than guards, but that's usually when you have 5,000 prisoners, not 15.
Yeah. It just didn't. We're nitpicking, I think, a little.
Well, I mean, here on the broad scope, the whole film just follows the bitch of Buchwald, whatever, Ilsa the she-wolf, who is a nymphomaniac, and she's determined to prove that women have a higher pain threshold than men.
Right.
So they'll allow women into the German army, which really is a kind of a feminist viewpoint. I mean, you got to give them that. It's also not an original. That's actually historically accurate too. I read that there was actually that movement within the SS. I forget to what capacity, but there was that. So that's kind of interesting. That's too is historically correct. Now the electrified dildos.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's not historically correct.
No, I don't think so.
No.
It had that copper coil around there to transfer the voltage.
So one of Ilsa's hobbies is sleeping with. Well, this is probably why they don't have that many prisoners. She has a habit of sleeping with a prisoner, and then if they come too early, she has them castrated and killed.
And from what I gather, every one of them has been either castrated, killed, or both. That the main character in this film is the only one that could actually satisfy her because he's got a gift, you see.
They all died because they should have waited.
Too soon.
The only thing I'll give this film is that her and by the way, I mean, like, this did hurt her career, and she had a Jewish husband too, and she was like, fuck it. Yeah, but she was like, yeah, fuck it anyway.
I actually just looked at her bio. I mean, she's from New Jersey. She's from Park Ridge, New Jersey. Which, by the way, Park Ridge, a little bit of money in Park Ridge. That's an expensive town. Wow. They, but aside from that, she's a Jersey girl.
Yeah, but
she only died last year. She only died in 2020, actually, in Vegas.
Well, she was a Las Vegas performer too.
Oh, was she? Oh, okay.
Yeah. They had I believe that's like where they she had a Las Vegas act that she did.
She actually died a year ago. She died.
She was also an ordained minister and would perform outside weddings, outdoor weddings.
Oh.
Yeah.
If I requested her to talk like Ilsa, do you think she would have?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. She seemed pretty open about. I mean, like she was very straightforward in saying that this film was a detriment to her career, and that she was offended by it to an like when she first read the script, but that she was dedicated to trying different things.
Okay.
As an actress, and I was like, yeah, whatever. It's not like it's the only Nazi exploitation film that came out in the 70s.
No, right. Yeah.
You know, they were all doing it.
We were already halfway through the 70s. There were already some.
Yeah. This should have been pretty new. It's just like I don't know. I can't say this is the perfect blend of anything.
No.
But yeah. So she and she meets the guy who can withhold orgasms.
Wolf. His name was Wolf.
He's actually German American, and he's the only. He's part American, and he's the only guy there that actually fits the Aryan type with the blonde hair and blue eyes.
Right.
So it's a strong message about American vitality and America's true place in the world.
Yeah, and she tells him that he's a disgrace because he's German.
Right.
And that he's fighting for the wrong side.
Hey, I'm trying to give this film as many chances as it can get to defend itself. And that's really, I think that's my last point, that you can actually defend anything. I mean, everything beyond that. I
guess, yeah. I guess you're right.
There are very... all right. They're not very graphic. They're not very vivid. But there are bloody scenes in which they're torturing women and doing horrible things and dehumanizing them. But nothing that you could actually like consider real. Like it's like, oh, well, that really happened. It's like, no, you see this, like, oh no, this is just stupid. So it loses any chance it would have to shock you by the fact that it's so stupid in the first place. And then normally a real film like this, if you were trying to like actually show the plight of the prisoners and stuff, you would give them personalities. And then when you did that, you'd give them empathetic ones.
Right.
But you don't have any of that.
No, there's none of that. I actually found what in the slideshow right now. I found someone is selling coffee mugs with the movie poster on them, so I had to throw that in the slideshow.
Yeah. It's like a day on the job. What do you mean go to HR?
Yeah, we need to talk to you about your coffee mug. What's wrong with it? I promise, there's no whiskey in this coffee.
Yeah, I'm regretting this background more and more.
I mean, the whole slideshow is worse than your background.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah, but you're right. There's no winning in this one.
But the thing is, it's just scenes from the movie which we are reviewing. I mean,
right?
You know.
Yeah. And the whole purpose of the film is to titillate. I mean, and that would be the big difference, like if you were comparing this to, say, Salo. Pardon me. Like Salo, the whole point of Salo is like it tells you right up front, you're not supposed to enjoy this. We're not doing this for fun.
No, and to jump off topic for a hair, Salo, for whatever reason, I don't know if you remember, when it was only released on Laserdisc, they didn't even have a VHS of it. It went like right to Laserdisc or something, or the Laserdisc was so out of print. It was the most expensive Laserdisc video of any kind. It held the record. I think copies were selling in the thousands of dollars for a copy of Salo on Laserdisc. So I mean, this film is also like that because there's a DVD of it. But at one point, this was so hard to get that people were bootlegging it, and it was really stupid expensive. So
yeah, this was the kind of film that like 30 years ago I'd be trading
like
online,
trade
for.
shows or trading online for them.
Yeah, getting buying bootlegs at a comic convention. This is the kind of shit that didn't get real distribution afterwards for many reasons. Before there was streaming and DVD and shit, you had to get 5th generation VHS copies of the Swedish version.
Man, I'd kill for a 5th generation when I was trading for copies. They were worse than that. It was so bad.
And a lot of them on purpose. Video Search in Miami would purposely record something 4 or 5 times to degrade it to a point that you couldn't copy it again, to make sure that people weren't selling their copies.
Wow, that's messed up.
Yeah, and they're still charging like $10 a tape for them.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's why I never ordered from Video Search in Miami. I just traded with collectors, and you're bound to get better stuff than them.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I remember I got a bootleg of the Black Cauldron, the Disney animated film.
Yeah, that was a big one.
And that looked like it was 10th generation. It looked so bad.
The 2 big Disney films was that and
Song of the South. Yep.
Yeah, those are the ones you couldn't get anywhere except
and
bootlegs.
The copy you wanted, if you did get a VHS, was the Japanese Laserdisc, because it didn't have the hard-coded subtitles.
Right.
The Chinese Laserdisc did, and that was floating around for a while. Even now, there's no proper release for Song of the South. So you can still find bootlegs of Song of the South on eBay. And
I just got one a couple months ago, I think.
You have to make sure you're getting the Japanese copy, or else you're getting burned in subtitles.
I don't mind subtitles that much.
Well, no, they're Chinese subtitles. They're not English.
Oh, in that case, no. All right, yeah. Right.
It's completely pointless.
Even then, I've watched enough movies with Chinese subtitles that I don't care that much anymore.
But it's like, I don't speak Chinese, and I can't read Chinese.
Yeah.
So it's a completely pointless subtitle.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's useful. I'm just saying it doesn't bother me as much as it might other people.
Hey,
that's all I'm saying.
It bothers me.
I didn't check if Ilsa had subtitles.
My copy doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, that shouldn't be a high priority.
Don't get me wrong. I don't need them. I didn't miss anything. It's like
that you could watch it with no sound and really just be this. You just don't know the names.
There was one point where I raised the volume to be like, I kind of miss what she said, but it was one time. That's it.
Let's be fair though. If you did buy this movie, like say you never heard of this film in your life, and you got a blank VHS and you plugged it in, and there's no subtitles or anything, all you have is the title on the tape that says Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS. In the first 5 minutes of the movie, you're like, oh, that's Ilsa. No doubt in my mind, that's Ilsa.
None.
We don't.
This is the type of film that you would find if you went to Kim's Video in Greenwich Village in New York City, over on 9th Street. If you went there, you would be able to find a copy of this.
And again,
no problem.
It's a horrible. I mean, when I say horrible, I don't mean like morally. I mean like it's poorly shot. It's the editing, the lighting, the scenery, everything about this film is horrible, except for Diane Thorne's delivery. That's the only thing that makes this film watchable.
Right.
And even then, barely. And I would never. But because of just the I don't know, something about Diane Thorne and the Ilsa character. I guarantee half the people that are fans of this movie have never seen anything more than the poster.
Oh, probably not.
And it's just that's just how it seeped into the pop culture, and it got a cult following. That's why you would find it at Kim's Video, because it did have this cult folling.
Oh yeah, the Kim's had tons. I mean, it's not there anymore. I hear it's like a coffee shop now, which kind of makes me sad. I mean, hey, I used to go to Kim's all the time. When I was collecting laser discs, that's where I built 95% of my collection. Because I
don't think we ever went together.
You know, I want to say you're right. Did we never?
Because when I was going, because I was older than you guys, so when I was going, it was after high school, And I mean, you guys are still in a couple years more than me. So
Right. I didn't start going until I was like probably 19 or 20.
yeah, exactly. So by then, I'd already been there a couple years, and I was moving on. So
Yeah. But if I were in New York City, I would always make it a point to go there, just just to go see. Every once in a while, I'd go to the Virgin Megastore, and then I'd laugh at the prices of laser discs there, and I'd be like, I'm going to Kim's, because they would have all their laser discs. They were used, and the one thing that you could definitely find in New York City is people with a lot of money who were trading in laser discs all the time. So I built, like I said, 95% of my collection came from Kim's, because I'd go in there and I'd find a movie on Laserdisc, CLV mostly, and it was like $10, $12. Whereas if you went to Suncoast Video, which was evil corporation, or if you went to the Virgin Megastore or anywhere else that was selling Laserdiscs, they were like $50 for the same movie. It's like, I didn't care it was watched by somebody a couple of times.
meanwhile,
hey,
I think we're a little off track.
yeah, just a little. Just wanted to throw Kim's in there. Just that.
The interesting thing too about Ilsa is that of the 4 films in the series, this is absolutely the worst one.
I've never actually seen the other ones.
You're
I've never bothered.
good.
Really.
You're good. Stay with that. Stick with that.
I did read that the second one, which is the oil chic one, they said that they toned it down as far as like violence and gore compared to this one, because they wanted to get an R rating much easier, because apparently it wasn't as easy for this one, which I can see why.
Yeah, that one had more of a weird political message that wasn't 100% positive.
Okay.
There's like some there's a political message in the film which really doesn't belong there.
Right. And
But
technically,
it does elevate it a bit above this.
and technically, they shouldn't even have been able to make sequels. But the producers went on to say, because I read this, that they didn't think anyone would remember the ending to the first film, so they made the sequels anyway.
Yeah, and it worked. It's kind of like that weird kind of like, oh, here's the same character throughout history,
I guess.
Not even it could. I mean, that's just the way I always assumed took it, and it's not like they were selling plots.
No, definitely no. So, I thought that was kind of interesting. It's like, yeah, no one's gonna remember. It's like, no.
No one did.
Yeah. Well, no, I was going to. And you know what? In the slideshow and throughout the film, the one thing I noticed is in a lot of the shots, there's a picture of Hitler in the background. In a lot of them.
You got to remind the audience what you're watching. Like, oh, that's right, Hitler.
You mean the giant swastika wouldn't have?
That some things you get used to.
You just get, wow. Wow. What's HR's number?
Wow. But there's nothing redeemable about this film in the least, except maybe Diane Thorne, and honestly, I think she's the only reason that it became pop culture, was because of the figure she cuts.
Absolutely.
And her delivery. Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is,
it's all her.
The thing is too, it's a lot of times when you watch movies that have explicit content in them and nudity, the nudity is, not that the nudity wasn't titillating in any way. It wasn't like, ooh, she's naked. It was just like, oh God, what's going to happen now? It's in films with nudity, you would, a lot of the times it's there to kind of sexy it up a bit, and that's not the case with this whatsoever. There's a lot of nudity in this, and it is not. No.
And again, it's boring.
It actually is. It is. No bueno. It did get a lot of good slides, though. This is one of my.
Yes, this is This is a film that I did not feel like going back through for slides. I was like,
That's okay. I was able to get some. I had no issues getting them at all.
Now on IMDb,
Yeah.
Ilsa has 5.1.
Ooh.
How does this have a 5.1?
It's almost, it's funny. It's like a film like this, which would, I guess you can consider it a cult classic, grindhouse style, like movie.
Oh, yeah.
Only 7,000 people on IMDb, which is actually more than the film we reviewed last week, which was, what the hell did we review last week?
Who knows? It's not up on YouTube.
Sorry. See, now I have to look because, when I listen to podcasts and they're like, "Oh, I don't remember what was that?" And
Doc
then
Savage.
Doc Savage, thank you. And then they never say, like if I just left it as, "Oh, what did we review last week?" "Oh, I don't remember." And it's like it kills me. Like a piece of me dies.
Doc Savage.
No, I'm just saying that if we did not just now remember, anyway.
Don't say this we stuff.
Listen.
That's on you.
Stop it. Anyhow, Doc Savage had less people review that. This actually has more.
Right.
I think Doc Savage only
But it
had
had
like
almost
1,500.
and it had almost the same rating.
It really did. Doc Savage was like a 5.4 or something.
I can't in good conscience give this a 5.
That would mean it's average, and this is below average. I would say I would go a 4 on this one.
Yeah, me too. I would say 4.
I would definitely say a 4.
The only thing not making me give it a 3
is Diane Thorne.
Yeah, really. She's the only reason I'd give this a 4. Done.
4 it is.
Yeah.
All right. So let's debrief. So this film is from 1975.
Yes.
And it was my challenge to Scott. Scott challenged me to Doc Savage. I challenged Scott to this. Now, the way our new format works is if Scott feels we're done with 1975, he will challenge me a movie in 1976. If he feels that we are not done with 1975, he will challenge me another film from 1975. So, Mr. Wilson, are we done with 1975?
Fuck no.
I mean, listen, I had to do it, even though I knew the answer. Our audience wanted to know.
We're going to be in 75 for a couple more episodes, at least.
At least.
Okay. Now, I kind of tipped my hand on this one last week,
right.
But I'll let you take a guess.
Oh, well, my short-term memory is for shit. And, no, it's, hey, what can you do? I don't remember. I really don't.
We're doing Night of the Seagulls.
Night of the Seagulls.
Night of the Seagulls.
Wow.
The fourth film in the Templar zombie. I'd say quadrilogy, but I think they made a fifth one just like this year or last year.
Now, we haven't reviewed this yet, right?
Correct. I watched it as part of the Halloween challenge, so I've already posted about it on our Facebook page. And I have some screenshots already because of that. But we have not reviewed this. I don't think we've reviewed any of the Blind Dead films.
Wait a minute.
I bring up Tombs of the Blind Dead repeatedly, but I'm not sure we ever actually reviewed Tombs of the Blind Dead.
Is that the one in the desert? What was the one that you challenged me like 11 years ago?
Oh, that was like Oasis of the Zombies.
That's right. That's not part of the Blind Dead series, right?
No, that's just a shitty Italian zombie film.
yeah, it was. We reviewed that. That was like, dude, that was like this show's birth. First 10, 15 episodes was Oasis of the Zombies. I think it was in our Halloween episode, maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah, that was the beginning of this show. We reviewed that. man, there's a few things we got to do. One is to put slideshows to any podcast that never had video, and we need to redo an opening and bookends. That is a must. And time just is not on my side for any of this stuff.
Dude, I feel like I've aged 10 years in the past month.
Well, maybe
the beer doesn't help. But...
Well, yeah, maybe we can start aging in reverse now a little bit. I don't wake up with agita as much, or at least not today.
I'm looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to normal speech.
I'm also looking forward to you watching Night of the Seagulls.
Yeah, that'll happen for sure. Maybe I can get Mare to watch it with me, but I doubt it.
Well, here, let me say this. I'm not saying it's a good film, but it's better than Oasis of the Zombies.
Now I'm looking at its release. Came out. Now, how do we do this? Because the movie came out in the U.S. in 1977, but was released in Spain in 1975. Theatrically, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Are we so specific that it has to be released in an American theater in 1975?
No.
No? Okay.
No, I'm not weeding through that shit for every film we challenge.
Because it was a movie
we're in the 70s. 50% of the films we're going to review are like from other countries. And that sounds horrible the way I said it, but it's true.
So, for instance...
I'm not even sure why it's a big deal. It's not really.
So, for instance, I wanted to challenge you to Dark Star, the John Carpenter film, but it was actually made in 1974, and it came out... Oh, no, never mind. It came out in April of 1974, and then it came out in January of 1976, but IMDb only recognizes January of 1976 as its U.S. release date for some reason.
That's why I'm not... I'm pretty much...
I'm sorry, January of 1970... January of 1975, which I wanted to challenge it, but I didn't think that I could.
I'm basically just going off of what year the film was like under. Like, it's a 1975 film. It was made in 1975. Did it get released 2 years later? Don't give a shit. It's a 1975 film.
Got it.
If I try to confirm that films were actually watchable in American theaters the exact year, I don't want to have to do that much research.
Okay. Well, then Dark Star is not a challenge.
There's no money involved here. I mean, we don't...
No, I know. So Dark Star cannot be a challenge because it was actually made in 1974 and released in 1974.
But when you bring it up on IMDb, what year does it have next to it?
1974.
Then that's the year you go by.
Yeah.
Right. That's.
But its release date is recognized as 1975 for the U.S. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
It's like...
I'm just surprised we actually missed it in 1974 when we were in that year.
Honestly, it was like, how many idiots have, like, besides these idiots, have spent hours talking about Dark Star already?
True.
And I honestly, he has enough.
Didn't Carpenter do something new recently, or is doing something new?
I apologize. I keep belching.
It's okay. For the first time in like forever.
Oh.
John Carpenter. Thought he like something.
Thought he was dead.
He ain't dead.
Carpenter's not dead?
No. He just had a birthday like 5 days ago.
You can still have a birthday if you're dead.
No, you can't.
You can't celebrate it, but you can still have a birthday.
Well, he was born in 1948, so that would make him 73.
People died before that.
73.
Hang on.
73. Nope, 70. Yeah, 73. Anyway,
I don't see him listed as directing anything.
well, it might be writing, but I
Writing.
thought that he was just doing something recently. Halloween Kills, based on characters.
Halloween
characters,
Ends.
Characters.
Halloween Ends.
But it's characters. I thought he did something
Based on
original.
characters.
Yeah, I thought he did something original, but maybe not. Something came across my my screen, and I just kind of was like, whatever. But I did catch it enough. Yeah, he's producer on Halloween.
He's not directing, dick.
It says he's going to be a producer on Escape from New York, which is in pre-production.
Yeah, he'll be an executive producer. They're just putting his name on there to give him money. That's it. He's not actually going to do anything.
Well, they were also putting his name on there to kind of say, hey, see, he greenlit it. You know, it's like, it's okay with him. You can go see this.
Yeah,
because the purists are like, there's no reason why this movie should be remade.
I'm not saying he doesn't deserve the money. I'm just saying that it's a token title. He's not actually.
Yeah.
He's not doing shit.
I mean, the last I heard, Chris Hemsworth was going to play Snake Plissken. That's the last I heard.
Chris Hemsworth?
Yeah, Thor.
Snake Plissken?
Yeah.
No.
And I heard The Rock was mentioned once. Not for nothing.
The whole point of him is that he wasn't like this huge mega soldier.
Not for anything, and you may not agree with me, but Kurt Russell can still fucking play Snake Plissken. I don't care if Kurt Russell's 65 years old. I really don't.
You can't put an old guy in the lead if you're rebooting it.
True.
It's got to be someone small and wiry.
But wait until Kurt Russell can't be Snake Plissken anymore. Then reboot it. Make one more movie with Kurt Russell as Snake Plissken, and I don't think anyone would be disappointed.
How about Pinkman from Breaking Bad? Give him a second chance.
Aaron Paul as Snake Plissken?
Yeah.
No.
I can see it. Why not?
He's too skinny.
He was skinny.
Sorry.
Buffs up a bit.
I like Aaron Paul. I do.
If we can accept Twilight guy as the new Batman, I think we can accept Aaron Paul as the new Snake Plissken.
The new Twilight guy he's at least like 6'2". Aaron Paul is not even as tall as Kurt Russell.
Good.
Come on.
The whole thing about him is that he's not bigger. He's not the biggest or the strongest.
Yeah, but Kurt Russell was never jacked, but he was always in really good shape. And I'm not saying Aaron Paul isn't in good shape, but he is not.
You are really.
He is not Kurt Russell kind of shape. Listen, I think Aaron Paul is the wrong choice.
I think anybody with biceps as big as a human head is the wrong choice. Hey, The Rock is going to be Doc Savage and Black Adam. Stay the fuck away from Snake Plissken.
I listen. I'm saying his name was mentioned, but Chris Hemsworth was actually attached when it was. Matter of fact, there's a director on it and everything. Lee Whannell.
Can't I go 1 year without seeing Chris Hemsworth in a dozen films?
What else has Lee Whannell done? He's directed 6 things. He's directed Insidious Chapter 3.
Oh, that fucker.
He did that movie Upgrade.
That was good.
Didn't like the ending though.
Why?
We talked about it. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either.
You hate the ending to that the way I hate the ending to Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
And I'm not saying you're wrong.
Well, no, we both agreed that we were not fans of the ending. We didn't hate it, where it's like, It was just one of those endings. He did The Invisible Man, which came out.
That reboot. I still haven't seen that.
Oh, he did The Invisible Man. You know what? That was actually a pretty good movie.
Really?
It wasn't bad. I actually
everything about it is not good.
No,
I mean, who they cast, the fact they even did the reboot, the fact that it's not part of the
Universal Monsters. Of course, I get that. That if I had complaints, that would all of that. Because I've actually talked to people about it, and they're like, I didn't like the film, and I've had like real conversations with people. As a matter of fact, the guys there was 2 moving men that moved our stuff from our old house to this house.
I've had fake conversations with people that had a totally opposite response.
Oh, okay, cool. And 2 of them were like, they had different opinions of why they didn't like it, and they both stemmed, and they didn't realize it. It both stemmed from it not being part of the Universal Monster universe. I was like, listen, you guys, you were looking for Universal Monsters. You were looking for the Invisible Man as part of that Universal, series, and you didn't get that. You didn't get, a science experiment gone wrong kind of situation. You didn't get that. And they're like, you know what? You're right. It was one of those conversations. Like, yeah, you're right. That's why I didn't like it. I go, that doesn't make it a bad movie, though.
I'm willing to give the film a chance as long as it washes out the bad taste in my mouth that's still left over from Hollow Man.
Oh, no. Hollow Man can't touch this film. Period. Oh. End of sentence. Anyway, so he is on tap to do Escape from New York.
Did you see the Hollow Man with me in the theater? I don't think you did.
I don't think so. That came out in what, 2000?
I don't remember. You're the date person. But I remember being in the theater, and it was like half filled, and there's people talking, before lights are still on, and this group to the front and left of me are raving about Verhoeven, saying, "Oh, Verhoeven's the best director in the world. He's never done anything bad. RoboCop, blah blah blah." I was like, "Hold on, Showgirls." Did everybody take a back stop for a minute? This guy's not the fucking promised land.
And it did come out in 2000, I thought.
Of course. Again, you're the number guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sat through that in a theater.
Yeah. Brian and Mikey made me go see Showgirls.
Actually, I remember that group.
I think Mikey made
the comic store.
Oh, really?
Mikey was the ringleader. He was in front of everybody, and they're like, "Scott, we're gonna go see Showgirls. You're coming with us, right?" And I was behind the counter at the racist comic book owner store, and I remember them like very emphatic, and I was like, "No, there's no way in hell I'm seeing that in the theater." I feel older. I feel so much older now. I feel like an adult actually saying to you guys, "No fucking way." have a fun time.
Well, they fucking dragged me to go see it. I guess they wanted you to come, and they were trying to recruit as many people as possible.
Oh yeah.
And
sure. Because that lessens the shame. You spread the shame out amongst enough people.
Because it was NC-17 and is 2.5 hours of just stupidness. And I remember.
I still haven't seen it.
Oh, it's awful, dude.
I know. See, and I know that without having ever seen it.
It's not even. It's not worth the nudity. It's not worth the rating. Period. It just ain't.
And you get those people too. It's like, "Oh, that's a horrible film. So have you seen it?" No. So how can you know? So oh, I know.
Oh, you know.
Yeah, I really know. I'll admit when I don't know, but in this case, I know.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, Verhoeven has done some good stuff.
Sure, yeah. RoboCop and Flesh and Blood.
Flesh and Blood, RoboCop. As a matter of fact, I actually have his resume up. He's done some other things that are pretty good. I haven't seen them, but very high on IMDb.
Once.
He did a film called Black Book, and it came out in 2006. And it's a 7.7 on IMDb.
Okay, if I saw that. I think so, but...
Well, it's also Nazi-occupied Netherlands, World War II. So...
Oh, no, I didn't see it. Most were vampires.
So it got a bunch of nominations, Oscar and all that stuff. So he did that film. Then, because if you look at RoboCop, very, very high IMDb score, 7 point something. Total Recall, also very high, 7 point something. Basic Instinct,
not a good movie.
it's a fun movie. Basic Instinct,
Fun, yeah.
that's fun. I mean, I can admit it's not a good movie, but it's a fun movie. Basic Instinct, for that kind of film that it is, you would think it would be a little lower, but also 7.0.
Now, I've never seen Basic Instinct, and I have it on good authority that it's a pile of shit. But at some point, I am willing to watch that to see if I'm wrong or not. Showgirls?
Showgirls was what he followed up with Basic Instinct, which was a huge success, by the way. 4.9.
Yeah, sex sells. Let me pull out all the stops.
Yeah. 4.9 on that. Then goes into Starship Troopers, which 7.2. How the fuck is Starship Troopers 7.2?
People are stupid.
It's 268,000 votes.
I don't want to be mean, but really.
I was actually surprised at how high Starship Troopers was.
Yeah.
Then Hollow Man. Hollow Man is a 5.8.
Good.
Then he kind of reins himself back a little bit, does that film Black Book, which is a 7.7. Then he does a film called Tricked, which is...
Oh, I have that in the Plex. I've never seen it, though.
It's only an hour long, according to IMDb. Mm-hmm. So it's like a short movie. 6.1. And then he did a film called L, 2016, 7.1.
For that.
7.1 for that. And he just made a movie called Vendetta. It's coming out in 2021. So the last thing he did was L. So as far as like his movies, he's got like an average in the 7s for his films, which is shocking considering how bad some of his movies are.
Yeah, saying not everything he touched was gold. Let's be.
No. Nope. It was like what's his face? The hell's his name? He's the guy that directed Jacob's Ladder, and he's very similar. He's very, very similar to Verhoeven, where people think he's like the next coming. Adrian Lyne. Adrian Lyne. He did films like Jacob's Ladder, Fatal Attraction, Indecent Proposal, Flashdance, and it's just
some boring films.
Yeah, 9.5 Weeks. He did Lolita, the remake. That's the one with Jeremy Lyons and Frank Langella. So,
Jeremy Irons.
Jeremy Irons.
You said Lyons.
No, Adrian Lyne is the director. I said.
You said Jeremy Lyons.
Oh shit.
That's okay.
I'll have to listen back because in my brain I said Jeremy Irons.
I know it was a slip. I'm just pointing it out. That's all.
Thank you.
Anytime.
I actually prefer that you correct me if I get something wrong.
That's why I did.
Just because it doesn't happen that often. So,
you say that.
Just want everyone to know that I am human.
That's why I said no. That's why I wasn't making fun of you. I just pointed it out.
That's okay. All right. So, Night of the Seagulls.
Night of the Seagulls.
Night of the Seagulls. All right. I think I'm gonna
remember, as the title indicates, it's a zombie film.
It's a so my streak of watching these movies for review alone continues because I don't think I can get Mare in on this one. I think the last time I got Mare to watch a movie with me for review was.
If you want to trick her, just tell her it's in Scotland and it's like Highlander.
Oh, Outlander. Highlander won't do shit. The movie Highlander won't do shit.
So it's like Outlander without the time travel.
Okay. Man, I'll tell you.
And then be prepared to have her angry at you.
I should do that because she tricked me into watching that show.
That's right.
Well, she did. Okay, real quick story, then we'll end the show. So, Outlander, it's a new show, came out, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6, I don't fucking know. So anyway, she says to me, there's this new Scottish show called Outlander, and there's time travel, and it takes place in Scotland. And I'm like, so it's basically like Highlander? Or it's got like a Highlander theme, because you're telling me there's time travel? And she was like, I don't know, but I know there's time travel. It takes place in Scotland, and it takes place in like, the 15th century or some shit like that, 16th century. I forget which. And I'm like, all right, I'm in. And I start watching the show, and I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Like, first of all, she time travels once, and it's not even cool. It's like, give me a fucking break. She touches a rock somewhere out in the woods. It's like, stop it.
Now, when Joey first told me this story, he's telling it just like he does now. But myself, who my girlfriend years ago had read the Outlander series, so I was strongly familiar with them. The minute he hits that part where they compare it to Highlander, I was like, Joey, no. No, you should have seen this coming.
Yeah, well, you build a relationship on trust, Nope.
And that's where everything goes wrong.
Yeah, exactly. That's fucking ridiculous. It's so fucking stupid.
So next week, Night of the Seagulls.
Night of the Seagulls.
And then you will be challenging something to me, I'm assuming still from 75, but we'll find out that.
There's very strong possibility that we're staying in 1975. Because once we go to 1976, that is my birth year. We started this in 1973, which is the year of Scott's birth. Once we hit 1976, it'll be my birth year. So there's some doozies in 1976. I just don't know. I don't know how many there really are, but I know there's some good ones. But we've been in 1973, 74, and 75. We've been in those years for a really long time. Really long time. All right.
Yeah, just underlining how old we are now.
Yeah, I tell you, I can't wait until we hit 1980. I'm going to be like a kid in a candy store. From 1980 to 1989, it's just, we may never get out of the 80s. We might review 200-300 movies in the 80s.
However, we have I think a huge chunk of our past library is 80s films to begin with. So
yeah,
we've already covered
you know what?
lot.
You're right. We might push right through it. We might barrel through the 80s. Not quickly, but
I'm sure we can handle it.
I'm positive we can. All right, we do have a website. It does work. You just have to allow your browser to use Flash. Go to Moviesucktastic.com and fucking figure it out. I am creating a new website, so that is coming. You can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Moviesucktastic. We do post stuff on there on occasion. You can also go to iTunes and do a search for Moviesucktastic, and you can listen to all the shows there, just like you can on the website. And then, we have a Tumblr page, Moviesucktastic.tumblr.com. And just do a general search for Moviesucktastic in your favorite search engine. We're all over the fucking place. Ooh, enjoy. Boy. You're welcome. All right, everybody. That's what I got. We'll talk to you next week when we review Night of the Seagulls.
No, that's not a seagull.
No, don't do that. You don't have to. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.